Hello, everyone. My name is Franco. I have a company called Max Cash ATM, and I have decided to start this podcast to interview people in the ATM industry that has a lot of experience, that has a lot of ATMs. My purpose is to gain knowledge and information that it will be very valuable for everyone. This first interview that we have Ed Cramer from Pro Solv Solution and Cash in the Spot based in Chicago. He has over 2,000 ATMs, does about 600,000 transactions monthly, years of experience, 16 years, average passive income per location about 40 to 45 dollars. And I like to ask about customer retention. How old is the oldest transaction that, or oldest terminal that he has still under contract? And he has it since 2008. Unfortunately, this interview, the first few minutes was not very good on the recording, but the information was so valuable that we are going to start with the I think it was the third question on the deck of questions that we had for him. And that question is, how do you approach partnership with business owners? Thank you.
This will be listened by people who have no idea about the ATM business, and hopefully it's listened by people like you.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of missing them because I'm not saying that, but I will be a little bit more detailed because a lot of people might not even know what a surcharge is or surcharge fee is. Okay, I got you. Yes. All right. Yes. I moved. Go back that way. I moved upstairs. As you can see,
so hopefully we're stable.
You're now in my kitchen, which is often much more stable than my what we call the dungeon downstairs, where I built a whole office down there.
It works, so
it works great. So that started during COVID. Nobody wanted to go into an office, so I built one at home.
Why not? Right?
So now the seven of us all come to my house. So I don't leave anywhere. So it's great. I actually I can't tell you how happy that my master bedroom is 35 steps from my main office.
No traffic jams in Chicago.
No traffic jams here, right? No traffic jams here. My staff might have a little, but where we live, it's very rural, and they got to get here. That's all.
There you go.
All right. You want to do that one more time or no?
Yes. How do you approach partnerships with business owners?
I think partnerships with business owners is a question that should be answered upfront. You either want a business relationship or you want a longer-term partnership. And the example I'm going to give you is in our business, we have something called surcharge fees. The fees are what patrons pay to use the ATM. Oftentimes, those fees get split up. So if it's a $3 fee to use the machine, you as a business owner don't always see all $3. You might be giving the location a 50-cent commission. Well, the 50-cent commission will change over time to your advantage if you just want a business relationship, because the $3 fee may one day be $3.50 as times evolve. That means there's 50 cents extra coming to you because you stayed the same with your business partner at 50 cents as his commission, and you've risen to $3.50. If you're doing a partnership, you're actually giving them a percentage. So you're giving them 25% of whatever fees. So his fees would grow, his commission would grow as your surcharge fee goes up. That's a more longer term play, something that you have to simply decide, in my view, before you get involved with any specific account.
That's excellent. In the follow-up to that question, what's the most successful placement you ever had?
Well, I'm not sure this is the most successful, but what comes to mind is Illinois is a recreational marijuana state. In about 12 minutes from where I'm sitting, we were called one day by an old friend of ours to handle a dispensary with 5 machines. The catch was we had to do it that afternoon, and they claimed that they went through 100,000 a day, and they did. So we went to our bank, took care of the money, and we literally had to visit the location daily because it was going through it all. I literally couldn't believe the volume.
Tell me about Saturdays and Sunday.
It was just, yes, of course. We were like concerned about everything, but it was close to us. Now that deal has left us, but at the time we were getting paid an awful lot of money. I mean, any person's salary would have been very happy with the one account, but it did leave. But it was really successful for the time we had it. It did about 17,000 transactions a month. That's a pretty high flyer. So that's
somebody starts. That's the number that they want to have in their portfolio.
Yes, and unfortunately, it's gone. But you win some, you lose some, or you have some, and easy come, easy go sometimes.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
It is very cool.
You talked a little bit about this one, but I will ask it and see what you tell me. How do ATMs operate typically generate income for their machines?
Okay. First thing that happens is a gross revenue scenario called a surcharge fee. That is the fee you charge people to use your ATM. Today's world, that's $3 to $3.50. Okay, someone swipes their card, puts in their PIN number, that $3.50 is coming out. Out of that, there are several scenarios of where that money goes. Most likely, it's not all going to you. Oftentimes, you pay a commission, as I mentioned earlier, to the location. Sometimes, especially in my Pro Solv business, you are paying a third party to cash load that location, sometimes even supply an ATM machine. So the more they're supplying, the more they're receiving. And of course, they're doing the heavy lifting, so they deserve it. Oh, interchange.
What?
I didn't mention interchange.
Oh, but we can move on to the next one.
Okay.
What are some common misconceptions about the ATM profitability?
Well, the ATM profitability has changed quite a bit. When I started in 2008, this was a great business to be in. I mean, it really was. There's something called interchange, which is the interfacing at the banks between the card holder and the acquiring bank where the machine is at. And in between there's something called interchange. And that fee is a silent fee. Some people call it the back end in our business. And it was at 45 cents per withdrawal. Today, it's probably a touch less than half of that. But that's how good the business was back then. It was just wonderful. So we've had a lot of snipping at the corners, virtually everywhere. The banks who run the electronic transfer network have made it just a little bit more difficult with all the different applications they've had, Cash App, Venmo, things like that, credit cards eating into our profitability. But it is still there. The transactions have actually slid in the last couple of years. And it's another challenge we've got. But there's also been a few bright spots. But nonetheless, that is the profitability is there. But I feel like we've hit the high point and we're kind of sliding down. So you have to be able to create income while the volume of your transactions has still slid. And there are ways to do it.
Do you see your ATMs as multiple sources of profitability? Like some of us do advertising, some of us put ads.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Again, I created a whole company to give me a second spoke in the wheel of profits. So yes, there are various ways to do it. The way Pro Solv does business, again, most of this is third-party cash loading. We chose to make a smaller amount of money on a larger amount of accounts to create that income. And there are very, very few people doing that, certainly on a macro basis, on a nationwide basis in the country. So, yes, there are various ways to skin the cat in this game.
Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to get started?
Start small, save your investment, learn your craft, and once you understand it, then try to expand rapidly. There is a learning curve here.
Like any other business.
And I learned the hard way.
There you go. We all do. One of the topics I want to talk is high risk location.
Okay.
You mentioned one. Can you tell us what high risk locations are in this industry?
Well, the highest risk, highest reward is the cannabis industry. Recreational states, if you have a location that does not accept what's called cashless, something we'll discuss possibly privately, you will spin those numbers like you've never seen before. I think Franco can attest to this, being from Denver. However, the dispensaries are very persnickety. They are very tough on you. And I think you have to confirm the cashless scenario, which are PIN debit machines, creating a POS type transaction at the dispensaries before you start. Because if you do it in reverse, you're going to be getting all these transactions, and one day 75 or 80% of them are going to be gone, and you're going to be looking around wondering what just happened. So it might as well be discussed up front. Cashless is a something that the dispensaries enjoy. Not for us to enjoy, but just something you need to understand.
Would you recommend that to new companies starting in the ATM world?
If you're going to do it,
there you go.
If you're going to do it, make sure that you have the pockets to handle it, because this will take an awful lot of money and a lot of visits to keep them happy. And make sure you have an agreement in place contractually. So, and they will lean on you hard. My experience with the dispensaries is they don't care that you're having a bad day. You have to perform, and you don't get a lot of second chances with them. If you can get them, I would say go after them.
Talk to us about banking in heavy cash environment.
I think it's your banking relationship. If you can handle the volume and they're not going to be a problem, all good. It's all good. You're going to be visiting a bank or having drinks delivered to a certain spot for you to pick up, or another armored carrier. But if you can handle it, and you have to be pretty honest with yourself about that, it can be a life-altering scenario. The dispensary I was mentioning before, they were paying me $150,000 just to handle that per year.
That will be great, right?
One location.
That will be great for anyone. Let's talk about growth and scaling. What's been your biggest challenge in scaling your ATM business?
Well, I'm going to tell you what it is now. The biggest challenge is me. I'm very particular on how I want to do this business. I could have taken another angle on this and probably doubled the 2,000 accounts that I have. I've chosen not to. Doing what we do at Pro Solv is hard enough, and I didn't want to complicate it any further, so I've been very, very strict on the type of subcontractors I work with. I vet them seriously. I talk to them. I make sure they're competent people. I do not take people off the web. I do not do a Facebook thing. And when I get them, we're having a conversation before any money goes in those machines. And you, as a person I've worked with for many years, knows at this point what we're about and the continuity it takes to be a professional in this game.
And that's where your name is valued.
Absolutely.
And that's a testament for all of us.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you manage operations across multiple locations?
Stressfully is the answer. We have protocols in place and we have personnel. So we're not a one-person shop anymore. We have 7 people that work with us. Each have been cross-trained and each has specific responsibilities. Even with that, what we do is hard. And so we have to be defined on what we're doing with our locations, and it's really a never-ending challenge. We're always being challenged. 1 or 2 people across 48 states that we serve are not doing the job that they should be doing, and that's where I get involved. So
a lot of us starts as solo.
Understood.
At what point did you say it's time to hire?
When I came up with the Pro Solv idea, I reached out to one of my childhood friends, who was not necessarily in between things, but could improve things in his world. And he started as a part-time player with me. I had 1 full-time employee at the time. He became my second or the third person in my group. And that took maybe a year and a half to work things through. Again, we were a little bit blind because we felt a little bit like we were trailblazing because we didn't really have anyone to follow. And I didn't know that there was, another company or 2 that actually did this. I thought this was something that came to me in my dream, and I started pursuing it. But when I started Pro Solv, I hired 1 person. Now there are 4 more behind him, and it took us a long time. We had made mistakes. There was potholes that we kept on falling into and having to avoid the next time. So it took us a while to figure out the best path and to make this a successful business.
I'm going to take the assumption that was Kevin.
That's Kevin.
Kevin is great.
Great.
Kevin is great. Yeah. I'm sure he helped you grow your business.
Yes.
I guess my thought was, were you looking for transaction count? Were you looking for revenue? Or what was the driver to hire that next person?
Well, it was we were getting overloaded. It was becoming. We are not in a 9-to-5 business, people. We are in a answer your phone when you need to answer your phone business, and I typically don't turn it off till basically about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm pretty much starting at 7 or 7:30. And I do answer my phone. I think it's what clients want you to do. But when we were getting to a point where we were having dinner together every night, it was time to get another person involved to lay off some of that work. So
expand more in answering your phone, because you don't cover one time zone. You have multiple time zones.
Okay. So let's talk about answering your phone. If I've had calls to make, and I'm very specific about having a schedule, I try to write up my schedule the night before so I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be doing the next day. That goes onto a personal side as well as several types of business sides. And I just try to make sure that we're comfortable My first calls will always go to the East Coast, where it's later, and then they'll go to the West Coast. I can always catch up a Chicago 5 o'clock West Coast call because it's only 3 o'clock there. So I try to organize it in that fashion as well. But I always try to answer that phone. I think that's important as a point of integrity. Answer the phone.
And I guess I just want to expand on that because we answer the phone because that's the only form of payment that these merchants have.
Correct. This is your business. This is your method of showing customer service. If they call and they don't hear from you or you don't call them back, they're going to be blind and they're going to be finding another place to do their business. So I've always been very much even if I couldn't take the call right then, I'll send them a quick text. Give me 30 minutes, or if that's okay. And most likely they're good. And again, I always try to answer them. No reason not to. And sometimes they're tough calls. They're not always pleasant calls, and you just you have to work through them. I think the point that you're responding is the first step.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. What tools or systems have helped you grow efficiently?
First off, we do have proprietary software that I've had to create and purchase just because of the business we're into. It's a mapping system. So all of our service providers, there are literally hundreds across the country, are mapped. So if somebody calls me up from Miami, Florida, or Miami in Ohio, or we actually have an account in Miami, Oklahoma, it shows up on our map immediately who can handle that. And we handle that. Now, I know most of you guys don't have the ability to have proprietary software. I would say the web is a valuable tool, and processor alerts are very important. I literally have 2 people that are scouring alerts, making sure that there is no errors, there is no cache outages, and when there are, we're calling our service providers to make sure they're on top of it. Typically they are. But when they're not, we're pushing them, pinching necks, as someone called it, and making sure they're aware of that we need their service.
We know what an alert is. What is an alert for the people that have no idea about this business?
There's something called a processing agency that is legally allowed to transact ATM transactions. And they have systems that literally alert you at certain levels of their ATMs because they are computerized. So the alerts will tell you whether there's an error, which means that the machine is not functioning properly, or will tell you when they're getting low on money. You set that bar. So a high transacting account, you might put at $2,000. A slower one, you might put at $1,000 or $500. But whenever they trigger that alert, you're telling your people, hey, we need someone to get over there and replenish that machine.
Thank you. A little bit about collaboration community. How can ATM operators better collaborate with merchants and service providers?
I think that goes back to communication. We take extra steps to provide communications. I was mentioning answering your phone. Sometimes simply dropping a line to your merchant. I'm talking about a one-line scenario. Mrs. Jones, this is Edward. Hope all things are well. Please let me know how things are going as far as us and your business are. They really appreciate you staying in touch with them. I'm not visiting 2,000 accounts anymore. So I have to communicate with them somehow. And I don't want them only to communicate when something is wrong. I want them to tell me what they think I can improve while things are, kind of blue sky.
So you're raising the bar for somebody else that want to go out and approach.
Absolutely.
That's excellent. what role does customer service play in your success?
Well, that's simple, guys. That's everything. It is simply everything. If you don't have customer service, they will know so fast that you're an irresponsible business person. Uh, Bottom line, the proof is in the pudding. If you cannot keep their machines up and running, you won't have them as a client very long. They may give you one chance, two chances, three chances, but if you let that machine go for any more than a few hours empty, or with what's called the first line maintenance issue, which is a small issue, they'll find somebody else, and they'll be very unforgiving about it. So we are very serious when it comes to communicating with our clients.
That's all there is. You asked me to ask you a question about your business. Tell me how it came about.
Pro Solv was an idea that happened because I had an ISO who kept on asking, and ISO is an independent sales organization, usually larger businesses within the ATM industry, asking me to do service work for them. And I kept on answering the call. I needed the business. I wanted the extra income. So on the third go around, they had a 300 unit deployment in 5 different states. And I handled that deployment with a week to go. They gave me 3 weeks. I did it in 2. And by the way, that account is still my largest account to this day. And I just kind of realized that I knew a lot of people. And I had kept a list called ATM owners in my computer for no other reason, because I knew those people were smarter than me and had more experience than me. So I could always kind of, hey, give Bill in Ohio a call if you needed help. So I had this really long list. And once I did that third grouping, I realized that, hey, I know a lot of people. And I started thinking of ways of leveraging it. As a matter of fact, I used to sneak out of my bed at like 5 a.m. and kind of quietly leave so my wife wouldn't be woken up. And like the third day of sneaking out, she stopped me. And she goes, "Don't tell me you're starting another business."
No.
And so I was sneaking into my personal office to do that. And I said, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it." And that list became the backbone of what is Pro Solv Solutions. And now that list is significantly larger, and our clientele base is significantly broader. And it's become our bread and butter company.
That's excellent. 2 more questions.
Yes, sir.
What does success mean to you beyond profits? And how do you use your platform to make a difference?
Good questions. The second one is we are charitable. We do things. Actually, the staff and I look at things. It's unfortunately on a smaller basis, but we do look at things like GoFundMe, where we have helped out people specifically in the ATM game that have had some misfortunes. One of our friends from Alabama had her house burned down, and we did supply some needed cash there. So we're very happy to be involved with that. And secondly, I would say success is really just freedom. Freedom to do some things that I wouldn't be able to do. I think the fact that I have the freedom to and privilege to own a business, and I don't take that lightly, because most people in this world don't have the freedom to create their own hours and choose when they want to work. Typically, it's more work than a 9-to-5 job. But I think you have to appreciate what you've been given. I am always trying to, especially as I'm getting a little older, appreciate the freedom that the ATM business has brought me. And I kind of look at it in that sense.
Thank you, Ed. The last question for our listeners: where can listeners learn more about your business or connect with you?
All right. I own Pro Solv Solutions. You can find us at prosolvsolutions.com. You can check out our website. There is no E in solve. I thought that was a really cute idea. It became a real pain because everyone spells it with an E, but there is no E. I'm available. Franco is a friend of ours. You can certainly ask him, off the podcast about what we do and our integrity. We try to do things simple, straightforward, and honestly. Anyone can reach me there. I'll give you a phone number at 847-400-7409. I'm sorry, 7479. Apologize. And you are welcome to call me at any time. Not past 10 o'clock Central, though. I'll be happy to talk to you. I've mentored dozens of people in this game. Still mentoring a few more as I'm speaking. I love the fact that new people want in, and that we can kind of keep you clear of some of the potholes that we've had to step knee deep into. That's my dog in the
Another
background.
question that I did not have here. Who's a good client for you? I know who your client is, but tell the audience.
I'm looking for clients that can help me expand my business. So I'm looking for a company that is going to expand. And that can be new people too. I've got a young lady I'm working with. She has her first few accounts with us. We've opened her up to a national exposure, and it's delightful. She was so happy that she got these accountants. She's actually making money without visiting them. And those are things that I value. Have people, but I'm looking for clients that eventually can help us expand. I'm not looking for all clients at this point. We do have the opportunity not to take business because we've grown so much, but we're looking for people that are honorable and want to move forward in their business.
So if I am in Denver, Colorado, and I just got an account in Alaska, and I don't know anyone in Alaska, who do I go to?
Give me a call. We do have.
There you go.
We do have. It's limited, but we do have accounts in Alaska. I've got 2 accounts. I can't name the city, but I've got 3 contacts mainly: Fairbanks, Ketchikan, and Anchorage, where we have the 2 accounts. So that example is valid. I have the same thing in Hawaii, where we do have people in Maui and in Oahu, and we handle the continental 48 with great redundancy. We've got a lot of people. We've got a lot of people asking us to help us expand their business that they're doing service with, and then we have a lot of people that are asking us